Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this video I'm going to take a look at budget Spell Druid. Well, there's not that much to budget in Spell Druid. The deck is almost a budget deck anyway, and the only epic cards in the deck, the Global Swarms, cannot be replaced. You have to have those in order to play Spell Druid. But you can cut the adventure cards. In most of the most popular lists there are 2 copies of Rising Winds, which is from the Galagon's Awakening Adventure, the 2nd chapter, so you can cut that in order to avoid spending 1400 gold to open it. Then there are some other variants that use Anubis Defenders and Force of Nature, so those have multiple other epic cards. So those might not run Rising Winds, but they run multiple epic cards, so they're still fairly expensive. So I set out with the question, okay, I don't have Rising Winds and I don't have other epic cards than the Glowfly Swarm. What kind of Spell Druid should I play? And I was quite surprised actually, because there are some very heavy emotions around this list. For example, Vicious Syndicate is adamant that people are building this wrong. They should not include exotic mount sellers in this, only forest sage. And then there are pro players saying exotic mount seller is core in this archetype. And then there are other pro players who are saying, no, you actually should run Anubis Defenders in this deck. And that Treant package, and that's the way to build this deck. So how do you make sense of all that? I spent at least 2 hours studying various statistics. I have the HS Replay Premium subscription, so I can filter it in many ways, and that was one of the least productive endeavors that I have ever taken. I have to say that almost every list, they're just performing so extremely similarly. Like a sample size of 1000 games, 2000 games, what you have here, they're just not enough to distinguish in any meaningful way between the various Spell Druid lists. And that's because, let's be completely honest about it, this deck is a high roller deck. This deck, the most important part of playing this deck is the mulligan phase. You mulligan for Glowfly Swarm, Fungal Fortunes and Overgrowth. That's it. If you're facing Demon Hunter, then you also keep Crystal Power or Wrath, because you die if you can't remove some of that early stuff that's coming out. But that's it. Then you try to get more cards, ramp up, and cheat out big boards much sooner than you would have any business actually doing so. And at least 2/3, maybe 3/4 of your games are completely decided by the cards that you draw with this archetype. You just flat out win, or you just flat out lose because you don't draw anything. Then there are the interesting games. The interesting games are the ones where, okay, do you remove something? Which turn do you remove it? Do you go for a big Kael'thas turn, or do you try to go with some other things? Do you spend your Crystal Power for healing? Do you overflow for healing? Do you maybe overdraw cards with overflow in order to heal up, to stay out of reach? What sort of big swing turns are you able to come up with? Those are the interesting games, but they are by far in the minority when playing this archetype. Maybe once we have more data on this archetype, more data on all the various lists, because there are so many and people are so extremely opinionated about them, perhaps we can actually make meaningful differences between them. But right now, it's not really possible. And well, this list, I just felt like playing this list, and I played this to Legend. So I guess it works. But it works the same way that many other lists of this archetype would also work. So given all of that, how do you even upgrade this list? Well, obviously if you have the Galagon's Awakening Adventure, you can add Rising Winds, and Rising Winds is good. Because it draws you more cards, so it gives you more chances to get to your broken stuff. And this would turn into one of the meta lists by replacing Worthy Expedition with Rising Winds. And there you go. Or you could go with the Treant path with Anubis Defenders, Force of Nature. But there's no real demonstrable advantage to that one. I will probably revisit this archetype later on. Once there's more data, maybe it's possible to find some meaningful differences, and also the meta may change, so maybe with the changing meta there will be some meaningful differences between the lists. But right now, one Spell Druid is just about as good as any other. If you enjoy this content, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get notifications when new videos come. Also check out the description below for a link to my Twitch channel and other means to support the content that I create. And now, let's go take a look at Spell Druid in action. I have a Crystal Power. I think we try with these against Demon Hunter. Okay, okay. So the Battle Fiend comes. No Battle Fiend. That's really good. Because I would like to have spells in hand for the Glowfly Swarm anyway. So you hit me in the face, I hit you in the face. But he did keep 2 cards, so there should be something coming. This could be the combo version. Can afford to take a ton of damage from the Sightless Watcher. I don't think I can, I think I need to kill it. Next turn is the Overgrowth. Then I have a 4 minion Glowfly Swarm. That's not too impressive, but it's something. Need to leave the Battle Fiend for now, so it is not the combo version. But he still has both cards that he kept, so I guess he kept Altruis and something. That's what this looks like. I need some mana crystals. I really think there's going to be Altruis and something, and then the coin too, so that he can answer things that I want to play. But instead there was a Spectral Sight, which is not a card you keep in your mulligan. That is peculiar. Fine. I think the first one we try without buffs. In case of an Altruis play. Do I try to play around it? It's a 5 minion Glowfly Swarm. I think I need to try it like this. See if this gets the Altruis to come out or not. Probably not. This is not so scary yet. It does get the Altruis. That's sweet. Obviously there's a lot of damage coming in, but if I had buffed these, the buff would essentially have been wasted. Because Altruis would just deal with it anyway. There might still be too much damage coming in, but now I at least have a better chance. There's another Glowfly Swarm here. Then I have the option to play Worthy Expedition now. I'm going to take 6 now. I'm going to take 10 from these, so 4 from hand is lethal. Which means that I probably actually cannot afford to play the Worthy Expedition. I'll just have to buff up my minions and wrath down the Altruis. This gives me a better chance to survive with minions that can challenge his minions. So now there's... I mean, there's still... How did I count that? Claybound Adept is still lethal. There was no way for Claybound Adept not to be lethal, right? Only with some kind of Worthy Expedition that would clear the board. That would have been the only way. Yeah, maybe that was a mistake then. That's going to be a big Battle Fiend. Is it lethal? It's actually lethal, right? Yeah. It is lethal with the Warglaives. Beginning to think that 2 Souls of the Forest would be correct. We'll see. Alright, up against the warlock, so probably a Galakrond warlock, although it could also be 2. We're going with some fungal fortunes, yay! Drawing cards is good for you. Suits you, sir, suits you. I always get caught off guard when some random player drops a command on Darple Snaga. I mean, don't they just run out of steam, those command minions in that case? I had the option to use Worthy Expedition, but I think I might want to Worthy Expedition with the Mount Seller. It is a 1-mana spell after all. Alright, that's the thing. But I mean, I'm always going to Overgrowth here. I have like the option to drop a Glowfly Swarm. He would have to... Well, he probably would have an answer to that. Probably will. But there are no asymmetrical answers to it. So his board will also die. No use to spend a buff on this, no. Just drop it. I'm gonna hero power down to 3-1. It's okay. There will be a Crazed Netherwing or something. Dark Skies. Lots of potential things to answer this. One of them will come now. Might take face hit from these. 6 damage. We'll see. Screw up the mat on Kael'thas. Yeah, Kael'thas, that can definitely happen. So it's a Dark Skies. Dark Skies clear. Which I admit is preferable to me as well. Too early to go in with the Mount Seller. So we're simply going with another Glowfly Swarm. Do I want to buff these to be 3/3s? I mean, he could have the dragon to kill them. Even if they are 3/3s. So I guess we just leave them as they are right now. And ask the Warlock what is his next removal piece. I don't have any of the cards currently that become free when you have 7 mana crystals. So it's a Plague of Flames play. So he doesn't have the dragon. Well, if he doesn't have the dragon, I could turn this into 4/4s, but I think I might go in with the Mount Seller this turn. Mount Seller make a couple of beasts. Let's discover something. Reinforcements is nice, right? Yeah, that can work. Ah, the 1/1 summon again. Let's buff up the Mount Seller a little bit here. And why not get a 6er while we're at it? Seems fun. Very well. Do it like this. Now we have that 5 then out there. But I already saw one Plague of Flames. Managed to top deck the dragon. That was nice for him, of course. He could Plague of Flames the Mount Seller away, but that would be a pretty big investment. I have the Bog Beam and the Crystal Power to kill this. And the Overgrowth to draw. Unless I want to use Gift of the Wild. No, I probably don't. 4, 6, yeah. We use the Overgrowth to draw here. And start summoning some stuff. And then I can Bog Beam. Bog Beam his dragon. I can Crystal Power his dragon to Then I can do Power of the Wild to buff up my minions a little bit. And then I believe we're hitting some face. Like this. And now there are still 14 cards left in the Warlock's deck, so it's very unlikely that he would have an active Zephyrus. This one is without Rising Wind, so the main goal of today is to find out what kind of list do I want to play if I don't have Rising Winds? That's the question that I'm seeking an answer for. We're just running a list without Mount Seller today. Yes, there are definitely lists without the Mount Seller. Like Vicious Syndicate is also recommending cutting the Mount Seller. But I want to test these things. My cards in hand. 2/2s do not survive the priest, typically. 3/3s could. But I can't make them 3/3s yet.
Blessings to you.
I'd want to play something, but I'm uncertain what. Maybe Worthy Expedition can help clear my mind. There's a sweet Rising Winds right there, but there's also a Silence. I think we take the Silence. Do I throw away a buff? I don't really want to, because 3/3s just survive so much better against the priest. I think I throw away the healing spell. Silence can be useful because priests typically run stuff like Grave Runes. More Mount Sellers. I don't want to coin the Glowfly Swarm. Just don't want to. Let's draw a card. I need more cards. And that's an interesting card. I don't really have a lot of payoff cards for it right now, though. I'm gonna need to make the Panther after all. Just not very happy about this. There's the Grave Rune that the priest loves so much. Ah, an Overgrowth. Do I need to? Yeah, I do need to. It's just Overgrowth here. Next turn is Mount Seller, but then he can kill this off and get more Bone Raids. He probably doesn't want to kill it off, though. Mass Dispel would be the only silence available to him at this point. So there would also be a Kale option here. I think we're going for the Kale toss. Now it's only 3 spells. There is no good Kale toss option, actually. Then we go with the Mount Seller, I guess.
I supply only the finest creatures.
Block Beam on that. Bit of coining here. It's not a very impressive board now, is it? It is not. It is not a very impressive board at all. Maybe I needed to do a different strategy after all. Is he going to kill the minion off, though? Nope. He still trusts in his minion. He puts a lot of faith into that minion. That is why I picked the silence. So now we're going to do... He cannot do Plague of Death yet next turn, so now we can do Innervate. And we can silence that one. And then we can do Power of the Wild. And then we can do Soul of the Forest. And then we're going to hit the priest in the face a little bit. Okay. And next turn I have Overflow, and I can also draw. I can also draw and play Savage Roar with this Overflow. Is Gift of the Wild lethal? Gift of the Wild 5, yeah, that's easy lethal. And there. Alright, then we're all about protecting that wild. And while we try to protect it, let's try to draw good cards. I draw Fungal Fortunes and I draw Glowfly Swarm. That's something. Although, if this hunter knows what he's doing, he's running Double Explosive Trap with no other secrets in that deck. Which means that the Glowfly Swarm, without further buffs, is going to die a fairly quick and painful death. Alright, Dragon Hunter. Cool. Let's try to draw something. What can I draw? Okay. Those are cards. This Fairy Dragon is really good against Druid. I too love playing this against Druid. So it's just a phenomenal piece. I'm actually able to kill the Face Stalker now before he pulls a secret with it. Which is wholly unexpected. I did not think I would be put in that kind of position. He just saw me draw 3 spells, so it is very likely that there's a Wrath in hand. But we'll see. Next turn will be the Overgrowth, and we'll see how it goes from there. Hunter is coming in, but I still have some time. Ah, Frenzied Felling. He has money, he has been able to get good versions of decks. That obviously hurts a little. Now there's already 9 damage coming in here, so there is a reasonable chance that I may perish. I'll still have to Glowfly Swarm at first, right? Is there something I could get from the Worthy Expedition that would save me? Not really, no. Glowfly Swarm first to get 1 more minion on the board. I can try the Worthy Expedition. Crystal Power actually is... Actually, it isn't useful. I don't know what I was thinking. It is useful, it is. It's totally useful for healing me for 5. It's absolutely useful. Let's use it to heal me for 5. That's a great plan. I'm totally on board this plan. This is the best plan ever. Am I still dead?
By moon and spear.
He's running an older beam. Well, with 0 mana he cannot possibly kill me. So that's 12 plus 14 is 26 with a Savage Roar. And 26 with a Savage Roar is not enough to win this from here. 1, 2, 1... He could have lethal from hand if I just play Gift of the Wild. So what I need to do is I need to Overflow. with Overflow, I can get a Taunt up. And I can innervate a Power of the Wild. So that buffs up my minions. So that I can then kill his entire board here. And I'm at 9 health. So now killing me became a fair bit more difficult. Nice Stormhammer. Will it be enough? It totally could be enough. I'm at 7. If I just Overflow again. I don't have more taunts left in the deck. No. So I could die to another Corrosive Breath. If he can get through. Oh boy, that's a tough call. I think it has to be the Gift of the Wild now. Turn both of these into taunts. Then there's no Corrosive Breath lethal. I have only 9 damage here. I think I may have messed this up somehow. Can I find more damage? I need another 4. There is no other 4. There's the Corrosive Breath lethal again. I don't like that. Oh, the Expedition. See what this one gives me. Ancient of Lore. Restore 5 health. Might be useful. I've cast 2 spells now. So I can play Kale.
Time waits for no one. Energy, power. My people are addicted to it.
Into Glowfly Swarm. Into Innervate. Into Power of the Wild. Into Overflow. And trade his minion away. So I don't die to a Corrosive Breath. I'm at 10, he has 5 here, he would need another 5 from hand. And I don't think there is another 5 from hand in that deck. Unless there's a Reckless Rocketeer. I don't die. I die to Scale Rider Corrosive Breath. There is a minuscule chance to die to a... So that's an Explosive Trap, right? But now I'll just Savage Roar, right? I can heal myself. I can Savage Roar. Soul of the Forest. Savage Roar. And it's... There is a huge difference between having Rising Winds and not having Rising Winds. Rising Winds is the best, one of the best cards in the deck. Is this deck still playable after the nerf? I think it will be. I want to play Worthy Expedition now. Maybe not. I have a Wrath here. But what I'm trying to figure out is what is the best list if you don't have Rising Winds? How should you build this deck if you don't have that? That's the question I'm trying to find an answer to. Maybe I needed to wear the Expedition on one after all. If I could find Crystal... Oh, it's the combo version. Okay. Now I'm going to deal 1 damage to then draw a card. Those cards are fun. Alright, so this one is the combo list.
They will never catch me.
Yeah, Junk Donut, that's kind of what happens. I need to ramp now.
Job done.
Let's get those mana crystals. 1 mana off from being able to use Forest Shade.
Burn away.
Some more mana off from being able to use Forest Shade. He could have Kale on coin, and he might kill me. That can totally happen. So this is the time to use Fungal Fortunes. And lose a Mount Seller. It happens. That's not the end of the world. I've also wrathed that one down to draw another card. Which turns out to be Kael'thas. So I'm saving the Worthy Expedition now. Let's hope he doesn't have his Kael'thas yet. There's of course also altruist stuff and things.
Now I am complete.
How many spells can I put in here? I can only play 2 in addition to the Kale. So I can't get a Soul of the Forest out there. Alternative is just play Forest Shade.
What to do?
See what happens with that. I'll try the Kael'thas.
Energy, power. My people are addicted to it.
I'll embark on the Kael'thas. Worthy Expedition. For Staff. No, Starfall isn't very good. Or Druid of the Claw. And then a Forest Shade here. I'll try something like this. So we have at least 1 taunt on the way. I expect like Immolation Aura, of course. I really thought he would push more damage to face.
Merely a setback.
Okay. We can do Forest's Aid. Can combine that with Soul of the Forest. But I can play around another Immolation Aura. By innervating the power of the wild on those. Then there would have to be Altruis or... Well, there are still lots of ways for him to deal with this. And the further he gets into his deck, the more opportunities he can have.
Do you see what must be done?
Ah, there is the Altruis.
Burn away to ash.
Annoying. Doesn't have a lot of cards. If I use Overflow, I'm quite likely to find Bok Beam or Crystal Power or anything, yeah. It's an Overflow turn. I will most likely find something that kills the Altruis here. Like this Bok Beam into it. And I can also heal myself a little. Next turn will be Glowfly Swarm into Soul of the Forest, so the Demon Hunter has 2 turns to win. 2 turns. He either wins or he loses. it's a glowfly swarm. Into the soul of the forest. Can use this too. I don't expect there to be anything that can really do things. Alright. Demon Hunter has to win this turn. He has to have the Kael'thas now. Without the Kael'thas he doesn't have 20 from hand. Both Immolation Auras have been spent. Altruist has been spent. Could there still be like Chaos Nova? Right. Dead. I think I will keep Crystal Power. Maybe I should not have kept the Crystal Power. This hand. Well, I mean, I can top deck Fungal Fortunes next turn. He top decked the Battle Fiend. Seriously. On top of having Captive Regard.
For the wild.
I need to live for another 2 turns, right? Should I have just face tanked the Battle Fiend? I'm face tank it again next turn. Surely something but oh. More Battle Fiends. Ah, he had one in hand originally already. There's the Fungal Fortunes. Good. We'll use that. So next turn is going to be Coin Innervate Kael'thas Overflow into Innervate Worthy Expedition something. But I can't do these expensive spells for free, so I might just die in 2 turns here to these double Battle Fiends. Because these are pushing a lot of damage. And it's only growing. Fungal Fortunes to find some... To find what? I don't even know.
Energy, power. My people are addicted to it.
How is it even possible?
My hand is too full.
Lost the Crystal Power. That was one spell that I could ill afford to lose. So that's 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. He has 17 damage coming for sure. Not anymore, he doesn't. Okay, so that was my Kael'thas turn. Can it make a difference? I haven't had any ramp, so if he can kill the Kael'thas, and I assume he will be able to kill the Kael'thas. He can't kill the Kael'thas unless he has a slice. He has a slice. So he has 7 on board. He could have Altruis in hand, of course. I still have to try with the Glowfly Swarm, I think. Now he needs to have the Altruis. Does he have the Altruis? No cards left that he kept. He's less than halfway through his deck. Altruis isn't necessarily there. Is it there? I mean, I guess it isn't, because if it was, he would have played it. He can still clear a bunch of these.
All I see is weakness. Time grows short.
Can he kill enough of them?
We're with
Does he have like an I-beam?
you. We're with you.
8 plus lethal.
You possess true power.
Okay, that was a pretty good game. I had a lot of fun in that game. But I figured that I just needed to move on to another deck. Okay. Fungal Fortunes, Overgrowth on 4. On 5 we do Glowfly Swarm and stuff. First Fortunes, losing my Kael'thas. Obviously hurts me a little. So we just need to kill this priest really quickly. That's what that means. We can still do it. Do I innervate Overgrowth? No, because then I can't get 3/3 minions on the board. There's no reason to innervate the Overgrowth. I want the 3/3s on the board next turn. I mean the turn after next turn. Before the priest can respond to 3/3s. Now without Kael I need to win quickly. So the next turn is absolutely crucial. Do I go for the do I go for the iron box too? I guess I do. What if he has Mass Dispel? If I have 7 minions on the board, that's 14 plus 16, right? And that's still lethal through a Mass Dispel. And drop some iron box here. Can't Soul Mirror yet. Could have Breath of the Infinite into Coin Breath of the Infinite. But only had that. So we take our well-deserved win. As you can see, I was clearly the superior player here. This win was brought about by my immense skill in piloting this challenging archetype. Clearly, that was the case. 13,000. Ha! So many legend points. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button
and subscribe to my channel for more.